An update in the Nancy Guthrie case. Today, investigators put up a white tent at the entrance to her home, and then, shortly thereafter, the tent was taken down. Former federal prosecutor Joe Moreno joins me. Joe, nice to see you. I don't know why that tent went up there, but I'm thinking as your former prosecutor, former defense attorney said, one of the things I would know if I was investigating is how big the guy is. And I had so many references on social media after they showed that video. People were measuring it by the distance of the brick, how tall the guy is. I think today they were trying to figure that out, like 2 days later.
Well, look,
the officials.
I think that the first priority, of course, in a situation like this is to try to recover Mrs. Guthrie and try to apprehend these suspects. We attorneys, we prosecutors, we think to evidence, right? So that we're taking a step ahead and saying if evidence is not preserved, or if statements aren't taken properly, if warrants aren't executed properly, we're going to fall short in a potential prosecution. So I feel like when we see things like tents taken up, taken down, when we hear things about local sheriff's deputies not working well with the FBI, that gets us nervous because we're thinking if this actually has to go to court, are they going to contaminate or otherwise degrade evidence that will be needed in order to put someone away?
Well, maybe they're on the trail of somebody, and they really got this packed up, and we're on the outside, so I don't know for sure. But it really does look a little bit like who's on first to me with this investigation, letting the porch get contaminated, bringing the FBI in late. We hear that the FBI and the county police aren't getting along. Or the county sheriff. I mean, it's like there's so many things, and we hear that she needs medicine rather urgently. So, time is marching on. This doesn't look good.
I think that it's easy to assume that federal and local law enforcement work seamlessly together. And we're seeing in real time that's often not the case, whether it's in Arizona, where there are stories that the FBI was effectively boxed out for 48 hours, and they bring tremendous skill, whether it's technology, forensics, Bitcoin, dealing with ransoms and things like that. And then you compare it to also like Minneapolis, where local law enforcement weren't even permitted to work with ICE. And we saw what a mess that became. And so I think that we're learning in real time here that there are advantages to working together well. And when they don't, either because of marking their own territory or because of politics.
Like male dogs.
I mean, things can be a lot worse than they needed to be.
Was it like, when you were a federal prosecutor, was it like that working with local law enforcement, or was it more collegial?
I was in counterterrorism, and so in that respect, everyone had a very shared mission. There were very little politics. It was the years following 9/11. So we got very little of that, whether it was New York State prosecutor, police, local NYPD. We did a lot of work in Manhattan, and so, no, it was not like that. And it's disappointing to see things so polarized as they are, particularly in the immigration area.
Those blood spots on the porch, and they're open to the elements. They could have had a rainstorm. They could have had anything. They got a pizza man going up there. They got media walking up there. That is just such a bad sign in terms of quality of law enforcement.
I'm not trying to knock local law enforcement, but I think when we see a case like this come under such scrutiny, we realize that oftentimes these local police departments, they don't have the sophistication to deal with cases like this.
Well, they could watch Law and Order or something and know that one, or the O.J. Simpson cases. Blood is got a lot of signs in it.
Well, and again, you have a crime scene that's contaminated, whether it's by reporters, by family members, by the elements, by delivery people. We prosecutors, we cringe because we say, my gosh, if we get to the point where we need to use this as evidence, we're giving the defense an awful lot to attack.
Yes, and we defense lawyers love it when the investigation is so poor and so contaminated. It's just incredible. I don't know. Time's marching on. These ransom notes are rather curious.
I also think that, unfortunately, when there's such national spotlight put on a case, it's good in that you can hopefully collect as much information as possible. But I think you also draw out of the woodwork a lot of fake reports, a lot of kooks. Exactly. Yeah. So it really cuts both ways as well.
Joe Moreno, thank you.
Thanks, Greta.